as always, 9 a.m. on Saturday. It is time for the Sports Zone. Joining me in studio once again is my sidekick, Chris Strickland. Chris, man, another Saturday has come, and how are you doing?
I am very well. Trying not to get the flu that's going around. Hopefully not. And it's a beautiful, hot Saturday morning. Temp's going to be around 94 today. Heat advisory. Typical Florida, Pensacola weather, but the good thing is fall practices have started. Football
everywhere. Smell it in the air.
It's coming. It's coming Sunday night, too. Finally.
Everywhere there's football, and our special guest this afternoon or this morning will join us at 9:30. Adam Hunsucker is the beat writer for the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks Sunbelt Conference. We're going to have him on at 9:30. We'll talk a little Sunbelt football. Of course, South Alabama is in full swing. Talked to Coach Joey Jones a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. He's excited about the team and the outlook of what's going on. And talked to Rodney Hanna, our correspondent up in Jonesboro, who covers the Red Wolves, Arkansas State Red Wolves for us. He said, man, Paul, you won't believe the facility. It looks like an Auburn or a Florida new inside training facility they just built. They expanded on their press box. I'm telling you, Sunbelt Conference is on the rise. It's coming, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well today. But can't start this show off without talking about baseball.
Yeah, most definitely talking about baseball, of course. First off, we're going to lead off with your Cubbies leading off. Of course, they have took two from the world champion San Francisco Giants that have now taken over sole possession, a 2.5-game lead in the wild card over the Giants in that wild card race, winning last night 7-3. John Lester picks up his 7th win.
Yeah, Lester's on fire. The Cubs, the bats are finally starting to come to life.
8 wins in the last 9 games.
Including taking 2 of 3 from the Pirates.
Yes, and the Pirates.
At Pittsburgh.
And the Pirates won last night 5-4, ending Clayton Kershaw's 37-game winless, inningless scoreless streak last night with a leadoff home run in his first pitch.
Yes, if you're going to get to him early, right?
Right, and of course the best team in baseball right now, the St. Louis Cardinals, 70-39 right now, best record in baseball. 6.5-game lead up on the Central race on the Pirates, 9 back of the Cubs, but it looks like there could be 2 Central Division teams in that wild card spot with the Pirates and the Cubs. That could be a very interesting matchup for anybody in the world. Right now, of course, with the Cubs, with Dan Herron now the offense is coming on. Dexter Fowler hit a monster yesterday. I didn't even think I watched the highlights on SportsCenter. As soon as he hit it, he just went.
Yeah, Dexter got every bit of that. And I'm going to tell you what, my guy on my list, everybody was messing with me because I had this kid on my top 25 of 25, Kyle Schweibert.
Yeah, I see.
Everybody said, no, he's not there. He's not ready. Kid went deep yesterday. He accounted for 3 of the runs the Cubs scored. This is a special ball player. And guess what? He did it from right field.
Right.
Or left field. He was in left field last night.
Right. Of course, Cardinals beat the Brewers last night 6-0, 6-3. The Braves beat the Marlins last night 2 straight. They've won 3 out of their last. I think they've won 4 out of their last 5. The Braves have. And a big trade happened last night after the game. Before the game happened, Nick Swisher, Michael Bourne
coming to the Braves
for cash consideration. So now it sounds like the Braves are forgetting about this year. I'm seeing a lot of young guys. I'm like, the only real guy out there is Nick Markakis, who they signed a big 4-year, $100-something million contract to. The rest of these guys are youngsters.
Yeah,
are 19, 21-year-old players.
The Nick Swisher deal, that's Nick Swisher for rent. That's for this year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. But
Michael Bourne, next year, leadoff center fielder, can steal bases.
Yeah, that's not the Nick Swisher part of it. Is not that's to help them with immediate needs this year. But it's just nice to see the Braves are recognizing they're in trouble and they need to make some moves.
Right, most definitely. I think Freddie Gonzalez is actually may be on the hot seat at the end of this year because I'm hearing rumblings that the organization is not happy with the way he's managed this team, so he may be on the outs this year with the Atlanta Braves. And here is the surprise of the whole baseball season, and you know where I'm fixing to go. I'm fixing to go across, not toward Yankee Stadium, but toward Shea Stadium.
We're going to go to the Queens.
2.5-game lead and I mean literally beat down, swept the Nationals last weekend. They now have a 2.5-game lead. I'm talking about the New York Mets. The Mets, a guy said this morning, the Mets may not lose. They've won 8 in a row.
The Mets are going to be demanding to be called the Metropolitans again pretty soon if they keep doing
And you
what
know
they're
who
doing.
the key to that is? Yohan Cespedes. They have that bat now to go behind Lucas Duda, and then now they've got the pitching. You got Matt Harvey, you give him a 1-run lead, it's over. The Gotham Knight, they call him the Dark Knight. You might as well forget it.
Well, it's going to be an interesting and fun playoff run, and of course, keep track of all of the doings and things with baseball with the Inside Pitch with Joe Manzolino. He'll be back on again next week as Joe is in New Orleans this weekend,
Joe probably
having a work holiday.
Right. Nationals, of course, are 4-6 in their last 10 games. They lost last night 5-4 to the Colorado Rockies, and the Angels won last night 8-4. Of course, they're 3-7 in their last, but they're a game and a half back of the Houston Astros.
Who, again, very hot ball team.
Right.
The Astros are really good. The Orioles are coming on strong.
Right.
Chris, this is one of those years that we look forward to because it's not often where you have this many teams that are within striking distance of making something big happen.
And the Mets haven't been relevant since the Subway Series in the World Series back in 2000 and
a long time ago.
Been a long time ago. This has been a long time for the New York Mets. Pirates won last night 5-4 over the LA Dodgers, 6 games back from the Cardinals, and holding on to the top wild card spot. But here's this. This is an interesting stat. In one-run ball games, if you're talking about a clutch team and they're getting ready for the playoffs, the Pirates are 23-14 in one-run games. So if it comes down to it, you're talking about a team that knows how to win the close ball games. And then, of course, the most interesting race, is the AL East with the Toronto Blue Jays when they went out and they made a splash when they got Tulowitzki to play shortstop, trading Jose Reyes to the Colorado Rockies, then getting David Price, and then getting some more players. And now they've got Josh Donaldson, who's one of the hottest young third basemen in the game. And, of course, I believe you've got him on your top 25 of 25 as well. Joe had him on there as well. They won last night 2-1 since June 29th when they made the Tulowitzki trade. They are 9-1. And they were 7 games back on that date. They are now 3.5 back. The AL East race, the Toronto Blue Jays basically just said, guess what? You think Yankees, you think y'all going to take this division? Not so fast, my friend. Pull a Lee Corso. By the way, happy birthday to Lee Corso yesterday, 80 years old. Not so fast, my friend. We're going to take this division back. And I'm telling you, Paul, if the Blue Jays get in the postseason, they're dangerous. They're dangerous.
And listen, there's not been this much excitement in Toronto about baseball in a lot of years, and the city's on fire for it. And when you start getting that, you can put quite a little run together, and they've built the team to do it. The front office in Toronto has done a wonderful job.
And now they got David Price, and they got David Price. They got Tulowitzki. They've got
that was a great deal picking up.
They got him for 4 years, but they got him for 4 years. But David Price, they only got him, but they've got the money now to spend for next year to re-sign. And also a sad note. The San Francisco 49ers, Aldon Smith, released yesterday from the football
But
team.
You know what, man? You say sad note, and I say good riddance. This kid has been in trouble from day one. I know 49er fans are going to
I'm saying sad note because
his career may be over?
No, talent. Just a waste of talent.
Yeah,
just a waste of talent.
But I say good riddance. He's been a problem for the 49ers. He's a great athlete, and great athletes are what they are. But this kid has been in and out of trouble since day one. And for all you 49er fans, listen, if you want to call in, 850-435-4007. We invite you to call in.
Yes, most definitely.
We want you to call in, but good riddance. I mean, what are you going to do? This is the most disruptive person off the field on that whole team.
Okay, here's what he did. He missed 9 games last season, Paul, for violating the substance abuse policy.
There you go.
Arrested for DUI. hit and run, and vandalism.
Normal person's in jail.
Alden Smith, slap on the wrist, dismissed. But this is the class thing about the San Francisco 49ers. They said he's no longer part of our team, but we will help him. They are going to step in and help him get rehab, get his life back on track, and possibly, you never know, maybe get back into the league. Michael Sam even made his debut last night in the Canadian Football League. Not real good for Mr. Sam last night, but he's just trying to get acclimated. He's been out of football for a while. He missed a read option play that I'm clearly as a guy, you're screaming at him, and you're like, why? You're right there at it. But of course, Alden Smith, that was a big news. And Nick Foles got a deal. He got a 3-year deal now with the St. Louis Rams. He signed a 2-year extension, $24.5 million. He ain't going to be hurting for money.
No.
I wish he'd go ahead. Nick, if you're listening, wire me down about $10,000, and I'll be okay, and then I'll pay you back by the time you retire. By the time and Paul, let's take $1 million. Paul will take $500,000. I'll take $500,000, and we'll make this thing bigger.
You can be the sole sponsor of everything we do.
Yeah, basically, and $26 million if you add this year's deal. And of course, Rex Ryan, the big news. He's in negotiations right now. The Buffalo Bills are in negotiations to bring Michael Vick in to end that quarterback controversy.
And you know what? I disagree with. I think they got a great quarterback in Emmanuel.
Emmanuel, yeah.
They
and
just
Matt
have
Castle
to
too.
Emmanuel has to have time to grow.
Right.
You can't and he's got to have people around him, and he's got to have a coach that supports him and believes in him. I'll tell you what I don't like about Rex Ryan. Seems like everywhere he goes, he creates this quarterback issue. And then he gets zero production out of his quarterback.
He wins by defense. That's the thing about Rex Ryan. He believes in ground and pound, and he believes LaShawn McCoy is that back. I really don't think LaShawn McCoy. He's a finesser, but he needs a big bruising back. He needs a Derrick Henry in the backfield to batter on the ball with him. And speaking of college football, while we were off the air, AP Top 25 came out. I don't know if you saw the AP Top 25. You know what really shocked me out of the whole deal, Paul? And I'll
give it to me.
Tennessee 25, Arkansas 20th, Ole Miss 15th, Auburn 7th, Alabama 3rd, which Alabama 3rd behind the two best teams in the country, Ohio State, TCU, and LSU. There's a lot of teams in the top 25, and they're all from the Southeastern Conference.
Well, that's good. With that, we got to take a break. Chris, we'll be back, guys, in just a few minutes.
Since 1993, you've come to expect friendly, exceptional service from your friends at David Bowen Sporting Goods. Now, you can also expect lower pricing. Hi, I'm David Bowen, and I'm tired of our customers having to go online or to one of those impersonal national chain stores to save money. Those days are over. Find new, lower pricing on all of the big-ticket items you need at all 4 of our locations. At David Bowen Sporting Goods, we're serious about sports, and now we're serious about low pricing.
What if I told you that you were thirsty? You were thirsty for something that you couldn't describe. It's like coming into the promise, just a trickle, even a glimmer of moisture, of water in the vast desert. What if I told you that there's a fountain beneath you, like a river flowing deep and blue and cold? That if you found this, that you could drink like a kid who drinks glass after glass of water from the tap after playing kickball all day in July? What if I told you that others would run with their tin cups and ladles, their pots and buckets, their hopes, fears, regrets, pasts and futures, up to your side, just to catch some of this water? What if I told you that there is more for you? There is more for us. There is more for this desert.
rock and roll. I got ladies that love my ladies, haters that hate my haters. I'm a chameleon, never got
We want to welcome everybody back to the show as, of course, we were touching on baseball, Major League Baseball, the Rays, how things are going right now in Major League Baseball, and as we were talking about, and then, of course, touched on the Aldon Smith being released from the 49ers. And one of the things I want to do is I want to just give a big shout-out to the cities that have been supporting us. Chris, we've since we've come back on the air and reorganized, we've had some really great success. And, I want to be sure that I thank everybody. And I want to thank, this is our top 14 list as of yesterday. Top 14 cities as of yesterday.
Well, bring it on.
Our number one city is Foley, Alabama.
Hey.
Foley, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Kyiv in the Ukraine is our number 2 city.
I want to go make one more comment about Foley.
Yeah.
Foley ain't just the home of the Throwed Rose. It's the home of the number 1 viewing. Hey.
That's right. That's right. Number 3 city is our own hometown, Pensacola, Florida. Thank you so much. Number 4, Los Angeles, California. Thank you, L.A.
I wonder who has a help in that.
I have no clue, Mr. Joe Manzolino and his Dodger beloved fans. Number 2 is the great city, the Windy City, my favorite city, the Chicago area, Chicago Cub fans, and Bears and Blackhawks.
Yeah, you got to remember the other team on the south
and
side.
The Bulls. They don't really have another team on the south side. Little League, we don't count yet.
Folks, the number to the office is, again, what's the number?
It's 435-4007 if you're in the Little League city of Chicago, down around Singular Field or what, maybe Comiskey Park. I think they're famous for like burning records or something and not baseball.
You're going to get in trouble. You can just watch it, okay?
Anyhow, give us a call. We can talk Little League baseball. I know Babe Ruth League is real popular in the south, in the
Folks,
other side,
I have
the
nothing
north
to
side.
do with it. I have nothing but respect for Chicago White Sox fans. Loved Frank Thomas when he played. Frank Thomas was the man.
Well, it takes more than one. Anyhow, Torrance, California, number 6.
Now, where in the world is that?
Menlo Park is number 7. San Diego, number 8. Beijing, China is our number 9. Atlanta, Georgia, number 10. Redmond, Washington, number 12. Saigon, China is number 13. And literally coming in by 1, missed it by 1, Buffalo, New York.
Well,
guys, we are from the West Coast to the East Coast to the Far East. We're everywhere.
Yeah, we're all the way. Well, you never know.
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah, thank God for the internet. Yeah, I mean, literally, thank the Lord for the internet. I mean, where's that city you just said in California? That last city you said, what?
Menlo Park.
Yeah, where?
Actually, it is. That is where Facebook is. It's in San Francisco.
I wonder if the Facebook people are listening.
It is a Facebook servers.
I wonder. Hey, they tuned us in on the Facebook.
You see me right there. We wrote the note that it came from Facebook.
Hey, all right. Look at there. Look at there. Look at there.
Anyhow, back to what we're talking about. Sunbelt football kicking off here real soon. We're gonna have.
I'm ready for football. I'm ready to hit somebody.
Yeah, I am too. I'm ready to see somebody hit each other. I'm ready for football. I think we got the Hall of Fame game or something this weekend.
The Hall of Fame enshrinements tonight, and then we got the Hall of Fame game tomorrow. Ben Roethlisberger and his crew will not play. Of course, Big Ben's not going to play. They're going to save that $175 million body to get beat on in the regular season, so they're going to not play him tonight against the Minnesota Vikings.
Anyhow, we got that going on. We have high school football for us kicking off in a little over
3 weeks.
A little over 3 weeks, as we will bring you guys the Escambia West Florida game at 6 o'clock. We are hoping. Listen, you guys, if you want to enjoy Escambia football, be sure to get on the website escambiafootball.com. Shoot an email to the Booster Club and let them know how much you enjoy having. Right. The ability to watch Escambia football. Also, we want to thank the Cube, who is going to be allowing us to use their servers to bring you all the football action this fall. And Chris, we're going to have a bye week. It looks like in this season, but a great season of games if we stay and cover just Escambia, but if we don't, man, there's some great matchups up and down the Panhandle that we'll be bringing folks. But like I said, be sure to just let everybody know you enjoy what you're getting when you do get to tune in and watch the ball games that we bring you guys. The other thing we want to talk about is our local baseball team, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
That's what I was fixing to ask.
Making a run and making it interesting as they won again last night against Birmingham 5-3. If I'm not mistaken, I think they are now either tied or one game back of first place.
And they got a big nationally televised game tomorrow night.
Yep, Sunday. And I'm actually thinking about maybe heading out to the ballpark tomorrow night and catching that game live.
You're going to get your pink shirt? You're going to get there early to get a pink shirt?
I'm not going to get a pink shirt.
I think me and the wife are going to go out there and go watch the Wahoos. We hadn't been since when the Mississippi Braves were in town, so we're going to go check out a game.
Well, before we get in and get Adam on the phone, let's give you a quick rundown around the Southern League scoreboard from last night's action. As Jackson drops one to Tennessee 5-6. Mobile drops one to Chattanooga. Big game for us. We need Mobile to start losing a few. 6-3 or 6-7. Pensacola, of course, beats Birmingham 5-3. The Jacksonville Suns beat up on the Montgomery Biscuits last night 7-2. And Mississippi Braves hang a donut on the Biloxi Shuckers 7-0.
I wonder if Pat Kelly got ejected last night.
I don't think Pat Kelly.
Because I tell you, he has put on some great shows when he gets ejected. I'm sorry.
He is fun to watch when he gets out there. He reminds me a lot of Earl Weaver.
I mean, I like the resin bag underneath his armpits.
Yeah, drying. Absolutely.
I'm sitting there like, I'm rolling in the floor. My wife sticks her head and she goes, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Look at this." And she starts laughing. She's like, "Is that their manager?" I said, "Yeah." And she went, she laughed too.
So you want to talk about the close race right now in the North, Southern League North.
Wow.
Birmingham Barons have a slim 5-game lead over the Montgomery Biscuits, who have been playing well as of late. Surprising to me is the Tennessee Smokies, the Chicago Cubs farm team, being 7 out. They usually are right in the middle of things. But if you like close action, Mobile Bay Bears have a
There's a two-way tie
lead between the Mississippi Braves and Atlanta Farm Club and the Pensacola Blue Wahoo Cincinnati Farm Club. They are tied for second. The Wahoos making a run. We were just talking the other day on the Inside Pitch. Me and Joe were talking about how good the organization is, considering the history of the team has been subpar. We've had really subpar baseball teams here. Not 10 days after we do this, the team pulls off a 5-game sweep, and then they win again, and now they're 10 of 9 or something.
I think so, yeah,
or 9 of 10.
But But you know something, Paul. I hate to cut you off, but it's so cool to live in a town where you've got this right here. Back home, of course, when I was back up in North Alabama, we had Huntsville. But when Huntsville left, now when we moved down here, it's great to see. You had Marlon Byrd, who came down here and played a rehab series. Billy Hamilton, who is playing right now, outstanding for the Cincinnati Reds, started out here in Pensacola.
Yep, Tucker Barnhill started out here, and so many of them who've come through here.
Good friend of mine, Donovan Hand, is in the AAA affiliate for him, we were hoping and praying that he would get down here, because then I could get free tickets, But darn, missed it by that much. But of course, Donovan is got called up, pitched a couple of games for the team when they had some injuries. But we'll have to get I might have to message Donovan and get him on the show one time.
Absolutely. See what we can do. And of course, the team winning numerous awards for their stadium. I think
the stadium's awesome.
I think by far probably the best stadium in minor league baseball.
Clint Studer and Bubba Watson have done a great job. And Bubba, wish him nothing but the best. He's playing golf today.
Yeah, second place in the tournament over there.
Yeah, I know out in the British Open he did not have the greatest of performances out in the British Open, so he's rebounding big. But congratulations to Pat Kelly. What a move to get Pat Kelly into Pensacola, and he's entertaining to watch, especially if he gets mad. But I'm serious. It's an amazing time. We'll have to see if we can get Pat on the show one day with us and talk with us.
Yeah, I think what we're going to try to do is get him in the off season before he heads out.
Right.
And see if we can get him on and talk to him. I really would like to get Quint Studer on and talk to him, a little bit about what it is to be an owner of such a prestigious franchise that this is becoming, with the Blue Wahoos. And, of course, the Ice Flyers making some news in the offseason, signing David Siegel.
Don't know really much about him.
From the Icebreakers. He is a heck of a leader. The thing about David Siegel is he number one, he brings veteran talent to the club, and he is the enforcer. He will go in and he will even the score, and that's something our club has been lacking, is somebody that's going to come and walk away from the fights and things.
He said he'll get in it. He said he'll get in some scrums.
Yeah, he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. Also getting Pollock back, the returning scorer, the SPHL scoring leader. He will be back in an Ice Flyers uniform, so excited to see that. And Max Strang, the goalie, he's coming back. So it looks like that organization is putting back another team
to make a run.
Run at another President's Cup, and
be nice to say 3 out of the last 4 years.
I'm telling you, it's already pretty powerful to have back-to-back champions in Pensacola with our hockey team. But boy, could you imagine to go get another one? We could nickname this Hockey Town.
Yeah, this could be Hockey Town, and also with the Blue Wahoos, they could make a run in the playoffs and could do an amazing job with that and make a run for a minor league World Series. That would be nice to have the Ice Flyers and the Blue Wahoos both win a championship this coming year. That'd be pretty awesome.
And guys, with that, we got to take our next break, and when we come back, we'll come back with Adam Hunsucker from Louisiana Monroe.
Country girls.
They're at farmersonly.com.
You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Since 1993, you've come to expect friendly, exceptional service from your friends at David Bowen Sporting Goods. Now, you can also expect lower pricing. Hi, I'm David Bowen, and I'm tired of our customers having to go online or to one of those impersonal national chain stores to save money. Those days are over. Find new, lower pricing on all of the big-ticket items you need at all 4 of our locations. At David Bowen Sporting Goods, we're serious about sports, and now we're serious about low pricing.
Rockstar, it's rock and roll. I got ladies that love my ladies, haters that hate my haters. I'm a chameleon.
And we want to welcome everybody back to the Sports Zone. And as promised, on the phone with us is Adam Hunsucker, the beat writer for Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks. Adam, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Doing great. How are you this morning?
We're sweating to death, Adam. I don't know about you, but a good night in the morning. It's too hot to be talking about football, but I am sure glad we are.
How dare you say that?
Well, I don't know if I've got much sympathy for you in that regard. It's 105 degrees and 115 degree heat index out here in Louisiana every day. So,
my goodness.
That's how it goes right now.
Yeah, right? I'll tell you what. Well, listen, Adam, we got football just around the corner, Sun Belt Conference coming up. How is the Warhawks looking this year, and how's Coach Berry? What's he had to say about his team so far?
Well, it's interesting in that regard. Todd Berry's really high on this bunch. I mean, they're coming off a disappointing 4-8 season, and they're looking to rebound from that, obviously. But he kind of threw down a gauntlet at SEC Media Days and said this was the best team he's had at ULM, which you remember that bunch in 2012 that went 8-5 and played in the Independence Bowl. That's a pretty strong statement.
That's a real strong statement, because that was a really good bunch of guys he had back there when they went to the Independence Bowl. I mean, they really took it to some real good ball clubs.
Absolutely. You had Colton Browning making plays at quarterback back then. That upset over Arkansas, everyone remembers, was was huge for that program. But what I will say is he
Also
should have the
toe-to-toe
best
with
defense he's ever had at ULM this year. They've got 9 starters back, a lot of seniors on that roster, and some and a couple guys that have potential to play on Sundays. And nose tackle Jaron Johnson, safety Mitch Lane. So the trick is going to be trying to manufacture points offensively. They struggled in that regard a year ago. They finished dead last in the Sun Belt in scoring offense. So that's going to be the trick. If they can put together some points to support that defense, then maybe Todd Berry's onto something.
Well, I'll tell you, he did not sit on his or he didn't rest on his morals when he put this schedule together this year. As you guys opened the season in Athens against Georgia.
Top 25 team.
And then you get to come home against Nicholls State, which is obviously, people look at Nicholls State and say, well, who are they really? But Nicholls State, not a slouch.
No, actually, their head coach is a former ULM assistant, actually. But what gets me about the schedule is there's going to be some Power 5 opponents on there. That's just kind of the nature of the beast at ULM when you have to play those money games.
Right.
But what gets me is this baton death march late through the schedule. When you're going about 10 straight weeks without a bye week to close it out, and it's just something every week. Plus, you throw in a trip to Hawaii. To go out there and play the Warriors, and then you got to come back from that, get over your jet lag for your home finale, and get to New Mexico State the next week. So, how they handle that trip is going to be key. And Todd Berry likes this bunch. He thinks there's more depth than they've had in the past, and that's probably a good thing because they're going to need that depth to navigate the schedule.
Yeah, because your schedule is really tough, and I'm not sure how many people out there really realize how good Sun Belt Conference football has become. But, you've got a team like Georgia Southern who just came in last year and said, you know what, we're going to show you guys we belong. And, boy, did they ever. And they look to be just as good this year.
Absolutely, and Appalachia State for that matter.
Absolutely.
My pick to win the league at least. But I remember having these conversations with people last year. They were saying, Georgia Southern and App coming in from the FCS levels. It's just an FCS school or whatever. Like, no, you do not understand that those are 2 big-time football programs that are used to winning championships, and it showed in their first year in the league.
Oh, absolutely. Both those teams were dominant in the majority of the games they played, and, it's going to be a fun year this year. I mean, every team is just cram-packed with an exciting schedule, and of course, you guys, no different. You get Alabama, you have Tulsa, and then you guys have that trip to Moscow, which is, not an easy trip to make, even though you're not leaving your country. That's a tough trip to go out west and play that game.
Yeah, it was funny. I actually talked to Joey Jones of South Alabama about that at Sun Belt Media Days. He was saying it's probably one of the more underrated home field advantages in the league.
Yeah, playing in the barn.
Idaho's rebuilding, and they really haven't had the same amount of success there that they did when they were an FCS program back in the 80s. But the people still show up, and they get behind the Vandals. So I'm actually curious to see that myself. I've never even been close to Idaho, so this is going to be kind of a surreal trip.
Well, you'll love the barn.
Right. That's what I'm hearing. Adam, it's Chris here. Talking about you looking at Georgia, then you got the Nicholls State game, then you got Alabama. Of course, you've got 2 teams that are vying for a Southeastern Conference championship. I'm an SEC guy. This will be my second year looking at the Sun Belt. But how big is it for Coach Berry to look up? You got guys that are potentially probably going to meet in Atlanta for the SEC championship, and probably one of those 2 teams is going to get in the playoff. And, of course, this team just a few years removed, the ULM, from coming into Alabama, Nick Saban's first year, and beating Alabama, and, of course, causing one of the biggest rants ever from Nick Saban, if you've ever seen it. It's just, just to see how much he respected, how much he felt like that the University of Alabama football players didn't respect ULM. And I think now, as a fan, I have respect for ULM because they came into our house in Bryant-Denny and beat us after we had just come off a tough loss against LSU.
Yeah, I'm sure the respect's there, but at the same time, I think he's going. It's funny to say this because you're talking about Alabama, multi-time SEC and national champion, and you're talking about ULM. But I think he's going to have. I think Saban's going to have those guys ready to play because there's still, knowing how he is, there's probably still a little bit of embarrassment from that.
Oh yeah.
But what's funny with but Todd Berry always jokes that he should get to go to SEC Media Day every year because of how many teams in the Southeastern Conference end up on their schedule each year. But he likes playing these games because it's an opportunity to do something big. Like that Alabama win, like when they beat Arkansas in 2012. Arkansas was ranked in the top 10 at the time, actually. Of course, they ended up only winning 4 games, but it still turned out to be a shocking upset. So, he likes having those opportunities, but at the same time, you got to balance that to making sure you're getting out healthy, because you don't want to go in there and lay it all on the line in one game against an SEC opponent, and then you're beat up and you can't get through your conference portion of the schedule.
It also gives you a chance to be on the big stage, of course, in recruiting when you play in these big guys, because you got the SEC Network's going to be doing the game against Georgia. Right there's an opportunity for recruits that don't never hear about Louisiana Monroe to see Coach Berry and the team play in a very big game against a very tough opponent in Mark Richt's Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's one of the perks of the SEC Network I don't think people talk nearly enough about, is it does, they talk about the ancillary benefits from the conference, which is fine and good, but it does give, Sunbelt Conference USA programs a chance to be on national television when they might not be otherwise.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Adam, let me ask you, at Media Days, the commissioner of the Sunbelt Conference, Mr. Benson, came out and was talking about liking to see a little more movement on the scheduling to schedule some Conference USA, Mountain West, and some other mid-level conference teams. Do you think we're going to start seeing more of that in the future, or do you think teams are still going to try to go get the big money games and continue to schedule how they've been scheduling? And the reason I ask that is going to kind of lead into my next question after you answer.
I think it depends on the school and what the school has going on financially, because you're going to have programs that can afford to do so. Those are the ones that have decided to invest heavily in athletics and to put more money into it. Your Arkansas States, Louisiana Lafayette's, Troy's, schools like that. But you're always going to have a handful that, because of the financial burden, ULM being one of those, they're always going to have to play those games in some capacity. But I understand why Carl Benson wants to move to this final, because that's where the money is.
Right.
The way the agreement stacks up with your group of 5 conferences, that being the Sun Belt, Conference USA, Mountain West, the American, and the MAC, it financially benefits you to have the top conference among those group of 5, because if you have that top team, then they're going to end up in that at-large bid in the Peach Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl, and with that you get more of the payout that comes from the college football playoff.
Right, absolutely. Now let me ask you this question, because this has been kicked around for years, and I'm sure you've heard it. The Sun Belt going to a 12, adding a 12 team, and possibly having their own conference playoff, and what that could do to help get into some larger bowl games. Do you think it would be a good play with a school like UAB, who is now starting over, to maybe look at the Sun Belt, making a possible invitation to them to join the Sun Belt and make this a 12-team conference, or do you think that they're just content where they are?
I don't see UAB leaving Conference USA now that they don't have to.
Right.
They were in a situation where they dropped football, and it's Conference USA bylaws. You can't be in that league unless you play football. Then maybe there was some discussion of that before they restarted football. I know the Sun Belt basketball coaches were a little concerned because UAB's got a very good basketball program right now.
Oh yes.
But as far as right now with them having football again, I don't think that's going to happen, because at this point Conference USA still has more bowl tie-ins and the television revenue's better. So you would only be costing yourself money and a chance to play in a bowl to get that.
Adam, this is talking about the UAB football program. Just looking at everything, all together with. Do you ever see Coach Todd Berry extending that olive branch out and say, hey, come down to Monroe, we'll come to Birmingham and play, and seeing that matchup maybe starting to happen? I was going to ask Coach Joey Jones that, and we had him on a couple of weeks ago. Does he ever see a possibility of South Alabama going to UAB, having a home-away series with them, and kind of kicking up that rivalry a little bit because both schools are just maybe 5 hours apart from each other.
Yeah, I can see Joey doing that with UAB. You know, him and Bill Clark go back. You know, those guys are
good friends.
Have worked together in the past, obviously. You know, as far as ULM goes, I mean, I maybe I could see them doing that. But right now, they're kind of the way the schedule's working out is, you know, they use that as a big recruiting tool, and they recruit some out in Alabama, not heavily. But you know, right now they're going to go up to Tulsa and play this year. They've been recruiting Oklahoma pretty extensively since Todd Berry's been there. You know, he's a Tulsa guy, haven't played there. He was an assistant coach there for John Cooper in the 80s as well. So they try to use those games more as a recruiting tool for those kind of purposes. So what you're going to see is, you know, some play at Tulsa or some team in Texas or another teams here in Louisiana, because that's kind of their base as far as where they're pulling kids from.
Do you ever see them play in Florida or LSU?
They played Florida.
They played LSU. They actually played LSU last year.
I just seeing them again, probably playing LSU or Florida again, possibly, or Mississippi State, in that matter. You know, seeing these.
Right. I think you know, as far as the money games go with your Power Five, those are kind of the get in as you fit in approach. They're gonna try to find someone who has an open date and get on the schedule there. So they'll play about anybody when it comes to the money game. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them play anybody from the Power Five.
Well, you know, next year you guys have y'all have a pretty big money, pretty good game there against Oklahoma, you know, in Norman. And, of course, you know, it's going to be interesting this year because, you know, we cover South Alabama real heavily. And, of course, they have to go up to Nebraska this year, which is going to be a very interesting situation to go there because they have Nebraska. Then they turn around and host NC State, you know, in Mobile. So to get that back-to-back punch, that's tough to start the season that way.
Well, I wouldn't count out South Alabama though, especially at Nebraska. It's going to be a tough place to play. But you're talking about a new head coach, Mike Riley, coming out of their new systems, first game out. I mean, it's going to take a little bit for them, you know, to be functional in what they want to do. And, you know, South Alabama went to Tennessee a couple years ago and you know, almost won that game. So I'm not sure how much the environment will affect them. I think they'll have the right approach, but at the same time, you know, you're replacing so many starters off that team alone. So from last year, so who knows?
Yeah, well, that's going to be the key part for South this year is man, they're going to be young, you know, and they're going to have to pick it up quickly, but. Probably one of the fastest groups I've seen yet over in Mobile, which is, of course, that says a lot for Sunbelt. Because if you look at Sunbelt, you know, Sunbelt's fast. They play fast. The kids are fast. And I think that really helps them when they do go up against teams like Oklahoma and Nebraska and some of the teams that are playing with kids who maybe aren't, you know, we call it Florida fast. You probably guys call it, you know, something else. But
Cajun
that speed,
fast.
Man, you know, that's that speed and being able to play in the heat and the conditioning, that really goes a long ways in some of these games.
You know, there's probably a similarity in that regard between Florida and Louisiana recruiting, and that you've got kind of a plethora of kids who, you know, are not very big, but they can run fast and they can jump high.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys like that you can make your living on. I'm sure, you know, being a more populous area, there's more in the state of Florida. But you know, those are the kind you want. I think that's what you know. What makes another thing that makes the Sun Belt interesting is you can get those kids. Because a lot of them don't have the measurables that the Power Five is looking for, so you can load up on them. And then once you got them, you got to find an interesting way to use them. So that's why you see, you know, the kind of the diversification of offenses you see in the Sun Belt, which is, you know, for a football fan that pays attention, that stuff's really fun to watch.
Well, Adam, I'm going to give you the tricky question now, and then we're going to let you go, buddy. I appreciate you coming on, but where do you see ULM at the end of the season, and who is your pick to win the Sun Belt?
We'll start with my pick to win the Sun Belt. I'm going with Appalachian State. You know, they ended the year really strong, winning the last 6 games, go 7-5, and they got 20 starters back from that team.
Wow.
So I think you're going to see a group there that can make some noise. Georgia Southern's the preseason favorite, obviously, and you never want to count on Arkansas State and Louisiana Lafayette because they've been among the top tier in the league for really the past 4 years. But I'm going to go with the Mountaineers. As far as ULM, it's going to come back. It's going to come down to offensive line play and who's the starting quarterback. There's a battle going on right there between Braylon Brown, a fifth-year senior, and a redshirt freshman Garrett Smith. So if they can settle on a guy, and they're going to have to get some help on the offensive line. If they can put some points together to complement that defense, they can win 5 or 6 games. But if things are like last year and the offense struggles, you're going to be probably looking at that 4 or 3 win category. So I'm going to set the over/under at 5 wins for ULM. I still got some questions on what I want to see them do offensively, and that's what fall camp's for, and we'll try to answer those as best we can.
Well, Adam, buddy, I appreciate you joining us this morning, and I will be sure to call on you again as the season progresses, and we appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Guys, enjoyed being here.
All right, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
And of course, Adam Hunsucker from Louisiana Monroe. I call him Louisiana Lafayette.
He's got his finger on the pulse of that program.
He does, and when I talked to Alex, the media relations guy at ULM, he said, "Hey, this guy knows as much as our coach does. This is the guy you need to talk to." So we enjoyed the conversation with him. Thank you so much. We're going to take our next set of breaks, and then we'll be back to wrap it up.
Pensacola. Are you curious about our coast? Go to visitpensacola.com for the latest information on Pensacola Beach and Perdido Key. Come enjoy 450 years of history. Our unhurried pace soothes your senses with art galleries, world-class museums, festivals, air shows, and great local flavors, all linked by miles of sugar white beaches. So come enjoy Pensacola. Many properties have waived cancellation fees and are offering money-back guarantees. Call or click visitpensacola.com.
Girls.
They're at farmersonly.com.
You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Since 1993, you've come to expect friendly, exceptional service from your friends at David Bowen Sporting Goods. Now, you can also expect lower pricing. Hi, I'm David Bowen, and I'm tired of our customers having to go online or to one of those impersonal national chain stores to save money. Those days are over. Find new, lower pricing on all of the big-ticket items you need at all 4 of our locations. At David Bowen Sporting Goods, we're serious about sports, and now we're serious about low pricing.
And we want to welcome everybody
That just gets you fired up every time.
to the final segment of the Sports Zone.
Gets you bumping up and down like that right there.
It does. It makes your Saturday start with a bang.
Hey, and guess what else? I was just on Twitter. We're 4 weeks away from college football. Yes! I am happy.
It is getting a bit weird in the studio.
I'm just happy. I'm ready for college football. I'm ready for the new regime in Florida. I'm looking forward to Jim McElwain. I'm looking forward to the game between Alabama and Wisconsin, battle of 2 top 10 teams. Can the Tide rebound from that loss against Ohio State to make a run and get back in? And is Derrick Henry worth all the hype? Doak Walker a Wood Watcher? And who's going to be the quarterback? Will it be David Cornwell or will it be Jake Coker?
I just want to know if the Saints are going to have a good season.
Bingo.
And am I
Top
going to
two.
be able to fly my Florida flag proudly this year?
I think you will. I'm going to say Florida's going to win eight games this year. They're going to surprise you this year. I got them going to the Outback Bowl and playing. Wisconsin.
Okay. Well, that's a good bowl. As long as it's not like a December 25th bowl or a December 23rd bowl or something like that.
I think you'd be happy with December 23rd after the season y'all had last year. I mean, I think any Florida fan would be. I don't care if it's 6-6 as we get in a bowl game, but the bar is set so high at Florida because of the national championships and the prestige of that program.
Well, let me tell you, let's talk a little bit about some racing, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Racing. We got to talk about Kurt Busch. Good night in the morning. The guy is on fire right now. He is just about won his 4th straight race in a row. He's just a few points out of the chase. This is a guy who missed most of the season with 2 broken legs. And since he's come back, he has been non-stop.
What are they doing? They're making another left turn.
You better remember where you live, my friend. Racing is like church in the South.
I know it. I like Dale Jr. and I'm a Dale Jr. guy, and I think Dale Jr. But I really don't think Dale Jr. is going to have a shot to win a championship. I think if he wins one, he'll hang it up because he just won't. He'll never catch his dad. I mean, his dad, Dale Sr., was the epitome of championships, you know, and winning 8, winning 7. And, of course, last year for Jeff Gordon, you know, pretty much all the original racers that raced with Dale are gone. You know, Jeff Gordon's the last one.
And, of course, last night at Five Flags Speedway, they had the modifieds mayhem out there. And, my goodness,
I've got to get out there.
What a race it was. And we will do our best to get you the results to make sure we have them accurate. I know the race results they have online. I'm not real sure how accurate they are just yet, but man, it was a great race. People had a great time. We'll remind everybody, August 28th, 2015. I know we have football that night, but it is the Pro Late Model doubleheader. A 20-lapper, a 30-lapper out at Five Flags Speedway. Adult tickets $15. Senior military students $12. Kids 6 and under $5 or 6 to 11.
Did you say $5? 15 for adults.
$15 for adults.
I'm gonna tell you something. Those big races. I mean, this is the thing. We lived back up north, we had the big boys, the Lucas Oil Series round trackers come. You talking about beating and some banging? And Paul, I'm gonna say, okay. The track is about as big as wide as your from maybe to from where the wall I'm sitting, maybe to the road. And you imagine side by side 30 cars.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Sheet metal, scraping. Ethanol fuel was in the air that night. I was happy. But that right here would be nice to go see. But, you know, I'll be working. You know, we'll be able to hear them, though, because we're going to be just a few miles away.
Yeah, we'll be just a couple of blocks down the road. But the Pro Late Model Series, it's tight right now with Ryan Lunds from Cypress, Texas in first. Wayne Niedecken Jr., great to hear his name again, out of Milton in second place. And Brent Holmes from Mudford, Alabama.
And then one from Mobile.
And Dustin Smith from Mobile. Ronnie Osmeyer from Pearl River, Louisiana.
A lot of these guys drive from Texas to come over here
and race.
Oh,
absolutely. Derek Scott Jr. comes from Franklin, Texas to race. Derek Thorne comes from Bakersfield, California to race. You know, they do it because all this leads up to the Snowball Derby.
Oh, and I'm going this year.
Which is the biggest short track race in the country. I'm sorry, Martinsville, but you know, if you guys didn't have,
I'm going this year. I'm going to the Snowball Derby this year.
You know, so but great racing. Moore's Head, North Carolina is represented in there. You want to come out and see some great beating and banging, and some good short track racing. There's not a track in the country to beat Five Flags Speedway and to beat what Tim Bryant and the Bryant family is doing there. Also over at Mobile International, as they're now running both racetracks.
Right. That's pretty cool. I mean, let's take a look. You know, I know you was talking about the NASCAR. Who you think is the favorite going into the chase? I know the chase is about to start here who you think will be who you think's going to come out on top in this new format that they got? Do you think Kyle Busch has enough to hang on to win a championship for his first time?
I think it depends on this weekend. This weekend being a road course, Kyle, as everybody knows, the Busch brothers are great on road courses. If he can get into the chase,
he's a favorite.
I got to tell you, you got to put him in as your favorite. He's just on fire. The team is gelling. Everything's working well. And I'm not a Kyle Busch fan. I'm not a Kurt Busch. To be honest with you, I dislike both the brothers. But my guy's retiring, so I'm going to have to find somebody else.
Jeff Gordon.
I've been a Rainbow Warrior fan since he was running go-karts.
I tell you something, Jeff Gordon's one of a kind, and that's what I was saying about Dale. There's nobody left from Dale's era running anymore. After Jeff Gordon, it's nobody else, and then Junior, of course, is getting up in age. He's about to get married,
Yeah, that'll ruin your racing career.
And I think that Junior, this is Junior's best shot to win a championship. And I may anger, if he doesn't win this year, I think he retires in 2 more years. I think he goes after it 1 more year, he goes one more try to win a championship, then I think he'll retire.
And, of course, Michael Waltrip and Waltrip Racing is struggling now. They lost their primary backer. He's going to Canals Racing, and he's going to sponsor a team over there at Canals. So, NASCAR's on the move. It usually is. I mean, we sit around and we
so
talk. So
he lost Napa, huh?
We talk. Well, we don't know if he's going to lose, what sponsor's going to go with him, but one of his 2 teams is now going to disappear. But the sponsor's going to, or the backer will be there for the end of this year. Then he's going to take his money and look at going to Canals Racing and helping him put another team together.
And you don't see DEI anymore. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. You never see it's Earnhardt Canassi now.
Right.
But, Michael Waltrip may need to go, and that would be nice if him and Teresa Earnhardt maybe reunited and got things going and had Earnhardt Waltrip Racing.
Well, that's the thing about racing is it happens quickly. This stuff changes quickly. The only thing that doesn't change is the fans. They're dedicated to one guy until he's gone.
Right.
I, to this very day, would still be an Alan Kulwicki fan if Alan Kulwicki did not pass away.
Right. That worked for me.
I thought Alan Kulwicki did it the right way. He came up, Hard Knocks, independent team, raced one Daytona with no sponsor. Then he signed Hooters. He became the Hooters driver, and then he just kind of had a great run until he passed away. I think we lost some greats. We lost Adam Petty. I think Adam Petty was on the break of being something special. And I'm going to tell you what, you can't rule out Elliott's kid. Chase Elliott's coming up, making big
Austin
noise.
Dillon. I think Austin
Dillon's coming up.
Yeah, Austin Dillon. He's got behind that number 3, and just before too long, you're going to hear Grandpa Richard Childress is going to get in him and say, "Why can't you run it like Dale?" And then they'll go back, and then you'll see an aggressive side of Austin Dillon come out. You begin to see a little bit more of an aggressive side of Austin Dillon, but there's always been number 3, and that's Dale. And of course, when Dale Jr. signed with Hendrick Motorsports, you're talking about his stock went up because he went to the best team and he was the favorite to win the championship, and then flustered, because you got the guy that put NASCAR on the map and Rick Hendrick, and then now Dale Jr. is on the tail of his career, and he could be on the cusp of winning his first Sprint Cup title and possibly riding off in the sunset as a champion.
He very well could. Guys, with that, it's 10 o'clock and we got to go. We'll see you guys on the 22nd at 9 a.m.
Alrighty, y'all have a great week.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking.